Salute to all the diehards. This is Die Hard Giants Live, and I'm your host. I am Jarrell on IG and Twitter. This is the NFL Draft, people, 2024. I had a show on the channel last year. We went through the whole first round. The NBA kind of screwed us this year because the Knicks are actually playing. I'm a huge Knicks fan, and a lot of people that are a fan of this channel is big Knicks fans too. So I don't know how many people will actually be watching because the Knicks are actually playing the Sixers in Game 3 of the playoffs, and we're in the first quarter. Um, the score that I have right now is 22-21. Knicks up one in Philly, but we got the NFL draft, and that's why I'm here today. I'm not sure I'm going to be on for the whole first round like last year. I'll probably just be on until the Giants pick because the Knicks are playing and I want to actually watch the game. But I will have a full draft recap show probably one day next week. After the draft is over, I'm going to have slides and show some film on every draft pick that we have. We're going to do a breakdown on every player. So as of right now, I'm just gonna be here chilling, watching both the Knicks game and the draft in Detroit. Caleb Williams is probably going to be the first pick of the Bears. They're not on the clock yet. They're still introducing everything in the show. Because the NFL draft, a lot of people have to realize that it is a show. Like this is going to be on probably until like 11 o'clock tonight. And, they just starting. They got a bunch of players from the Detroit Lions. Eminem is on the stage right now with Roger Goodell because the draft is in Detroit this year. But the Bears got the first pick. They're about to be on the clock soon. You guys gonna be chilling with me. So I got the PFF mock draft simulator here. So every time somebody gets drafted, I'll put it up here so you can actually see all the players that are going to be drafted. Like I said, when the Giants pick, after that, I'll talk a little bit about the pick, a little bit about the player, but then I'll probably get off to watch the Knicks play the rest of the game. So sit tight. We'll probably be on here for about an hour. Unless the Giants move up, there's a lot of talks about moving up this year to get a quarterback. We picked 6. 3 out of the 5 teams ahead of us need quarterbacks. The Giants will actually love one of those 3 quarterbacks because we're in dire need of one. But if we trade up, it will most likely be to pick 3. Hopefully get Drake May. I actually wanted him coming out of the draft. I actually think he's the second best quarterback after Caleb Williams. But hopefully, if New England, will want to get up off him, it all depends because they made it seem like that they're high on May, and if they are going to trade out of that pick, it's going to take a haul. There was a report a couple of hours ago saying that if the Giants want to move up, they will have to give up this year's first round, of course, the 6th pick, our second round pick, which is 47th, and next year's 2025 first round pick as well. So we'll be giving up the first and second round pick for this year and the first round pick for next year. That kind of makes sense. That's usually the going rate. If you're going to move up in the draft, you have to give the team that you move up a lot of capital, man. And us moving up those 3 slots, that first round pick next year might be crucial to us. But in order for us to get Drake May, is going to take our first round pick this year and next year as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they ask for the first and second next year. That's how valuable these picks are. And when it comes to football, the NFL doesn't play about their draft picks, man. Like they always have like a draft calculator. Every team has a draft calculator to see how much value their picks are worth. And, you got to give them a lot of compensation in order to move up, especially if you're going to move up into the top 3 to get one of the best quarterbacks in the draft. And Drake May would be that person if we get him. I believe. I highly doubt if we trade up just to pick JJ McCarthy because he can actually slide to us. Or maybe Michael Penix Jr., you never know. If we don't pick either of those and we either of them and we stick at 6. There are a number of wide receivers that we could pick. Um, if we pick a wide receiver, who knows? We might trade back into the first round to get somebody like Michael Penix or Bo Nix. I honestly highly doubt that Michael Penix will be in the end of the first round. I'm not so sure about Bo Nix. Um, Personally, I'm not as high on Bo Nix. He's probably my lowest rated quarterback out of the 6 that they've been talking about that are going in the first round. But Michael Penix Jr., his value has went up during the draft process, and I really doubt if he'll be there at the end of the first round. Like we'll have to, if we don't, have a haul for pick 3, we would have to give somebody a haul to move back up into the first round. Um, Probably even more so. We probably have to give up our first round next year and a couple other picks too to move back up into the first round, high enough to get Michael Penix. So um, that actually means if they are in love with Michael Penix Jr., I want to know how comfortable fans are picking, Michael Penix at 6. It'll be a shock, just like we picked Daniel Jones high at 6 when we drafted him. So I'm not sure after quote unquote reaching for Daniel Jones at 6 a few 5 years ago. I'm not so sure that fans will be comfortable with somebody or us reaching again for a quarterback that's supposed to be in the mid to late first round. So let me see everybody in the chat, man. Salute to Dwayne. Dwayne was the first one here. He was early. Salute to Wonder Woman. Salute. We'll probably get a couple more people in here soon. The draft just started. It's a little over 5 minutes left in the clock for the Bears. Everybody know what the first pick is going to be. Like I said, the NFL draft is a show, so they have to make it a show. And because of that, it's going to be a whole bunch of filler. It's going to be a whole bunch of commercials. They're going to force teams to use the whole 10 minutes, even though we already know that, Caleb Williams was the first pick as soon as he said that he was going to go into the draft. So we still got to wait here for him to be picked officially. And they're always going to have like the teams wait to the end of the clock just so they could talk about the prospects and have a little, a little downtime, because this is a production and they have to fill up 3 hours. Like they probably won't go off until like around 11 o'clock. That's why the first round always seems to end at that 3 hour mark. They speed up and slow down teams for picking all the time. So the Bears got a little over 4 minutes. Yeah, we already know it's going to be Caleb Williams. I don't think I'm going to have any highlight plays this show. I might have something for the pick that we actually have for the Giants, but everybody else pick, I'm just going to have it on here on the mock so you can see who everybody picked. So Wonder Woman, if you were a little late before, and when I started the show, I told everybody that usually I would be on for the whole first round, but since I'm such a Knicks fan, I want to watch the Knicks game too. I'll probably be on here until the Giants pick, and then I'll probably sign off. But next week I will have a full blown draft recap with every player that we picked. Going to break everybody down, and that's going to definitely be the show to watch, because we're probably going to have about 4 or 5 picks unless we trade and have a 7th, because I think we have 6 draft picks. So I'll have slides for everybody, film on everybody, and break down everybody for every round. First round we pick 6. Second round we pick 47th. I don't remember let me see what the other picks were. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, the Giants got 647. In the third round, we have the 70. Round 4, we have 107. Round 5 is 166. And the 6th round, we have 183. We do not have a 7th round pick this year. So we only have 6 picks. So if we do trade up, it's going to be really crucial to get the other picks right, because if we do trade up the first, and if we do get Drake May at 3, our 2nd round pick is definitely going to be gone. Maybe our 3rd. You never know what the deal is going to be, and we might only have 4 picks unless we make another trade to get another pick. The Bears have officially drafted Caleb Williams. He is the number 1 pick in the 2024 draft. So let me go here. Pick Caleb Williams to the Chicago Bears. This was like the worst kept secret in like NFL history. Everybody knew that he was going to be the first pick of the draft. The Bears didn't play around when it comes to like trading the pick or anything like that. They traded their starting quarterback already to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's going to be a new regime with Caleb Williams. He brings a lot to their team, a lot of talent. He's going to run around there. Off-schedule throws is fantastic. Some scouts call him a generational talent. I'm not so sure about that, him being generational, but I think he's definitely going to be good, though. How good, that remains to be seen, because the Chicago Bears historically, the Chicago Bears usually don't have, a franchise quarterback. When it comes to teams, it's kind of funny how some of the same teams always have a good franchise quarterback. Like, look at Green Bay. They went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. Now they got Jordan Love winning playoff games. When it comes to the Bears, I don't remember the last quote unquote franchise guy they had. Maybe Rex Grossman when they went to the Super Bowl, but he wasn't necessarily considered a franchise quarterback. And before that, I don't even know. It could be like Jim McMahon when they won the Super Bowl in '85. I don't know, but the Bears usually are one of those teams that a lot of people think just historically they can't nurture a franchise quarterback from the draft. Their quarterbacks are usually picked out of free agency. Jay Cutler come to mind, put up a lot of numbers. He was originally drafted by Denver. A couple other quarterbacks too. Like, they've had good ones, but they haven't drafted any good ones. So we'll see how Caleb Williams fares out. They have his targets that he's going to have up on the screen now. DJ Moore. They went out and got Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet is at tight end. DeAndre Swift, they got from the Eagles and running back, and they still have a top 10 pick in this draft. The only reason the Bears have the number 1 pick in the draft is because of the trade that they made with the Panthers last year. This is supposed to be the Panthers pick. They picked Bryce Young last year. Then the Bears get their franchise quarterback this year in Caleb Williams. So the Bears actually pick again in the top 10. They have the nice pick of the draft, their own pick. So they can pair him up with another dynamic wide receiver. This draft is going to be wide receiver heavy. I predict maybe, I don't know, it might be 6 wide receivers that go in the first round this year. For the Giants, those wide receivers, I actually think Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably going to be gone by the time we pick. To what team, I don't know. Maybe the Cardinals. If the Cardinals don't get him, or if they trade out of that pick for somebody to grab, like a quarterback like J.J. McCarthy, I surely expect the Chargers to get Marvin Harrison Jr. But for us, for the Giants, we still have Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze. When you talk about those two guys, those 2 wide receivers are vastly different. Malik Neighbors is a very, very explosive speed guy, yak type of wide receiver, yards after the catch. You could do running plays with him. He could be a slot, but he could be on the outside too. Very, very versatile. Rome Odunze is more of your prototypical X wide receiver, put him on the boundary. Um, you know, prototypical size, about 6'2", 6'3", 210, 215, 220 pounds. Um, Down the field, snatches everything out of the air. The point of attack, he's always excellent when it comes to that. So if we did pick one of those two wide receivers, I'm totally fine. My number one is Marvin Harrison Jr. He's my number one player in the draft. So if we get him, I will obviously be excited. But if we get the other two wide receivers, they are. I think all three of those wide receivers are good enough to be have all pro careers, depending on what team they go to, and it's all about situation, how successful a player is going to be. So if we do get Malik Neighbors, I'm happy. We get Roma Dunze, I'm happy. When it comes to the quarterbacks that the Giants have been linked to, we've been linked to Drake May, obviously. Talked about him already. We've also been linked to J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. J.J. McCarthy is, to me, is the biggest enigma in the draft because his team was so good. Michigan Wolverines won the national championship, but they won the national championship like just by running the ball and playing good defense. They had the number one defense in the nation, one of the best running attacks in the nation. JJ McCarthy didn't really have to do much, but he has a cannon for an arm. A lot of scouts say he's really, really smart. Obviously, I'm not an NFL scout and I'm not in those circles, so I don't know exactly how teams feel about him. But in the draft process, he moved up because he interviews well. He's a when it comes to workouts, I already say he has a cannon for an arm, so his workouts will always turn out well. They say he's really, really smart. His recall is excellent, but we haven't seen him throw the ball a lot. So a lot of fans don't like JJ McCarthy just because of that. But like I tried to explain before, how can I put this? When it comes to the NFL draft, a lot of this stuff doesn't really matter what you did in college. Like I know it seems that way. That's why these guys are drafted high, but your talent can get you drafted. But NFL teams are like they're looking for what you can do in the NFL. Then they don't really go by what you did in college. The Commanders is on the clock now. They look like they just picked Jalen Daniels. Why? I mean, not wide receiver, quarterback out of LSU. Jaden Daniels is off the board. Where is he at? Oh, we're PFF. Oh, there you go. PFF got him ranked, I think, at the 15th player of the draft. But yeah, Jaden Daniels is the number 2 pick. Washington Commanders. The Patriots are now on the clock. Now it gets exciting for us because if we do get Drake May, it will probably be right now, or we'll stay put and the Patriots will uh, make the pick, and I'm guessing that it will be Drake May. But Jaden Daniels, let's talk about Jaden Daniels a little bit. Jaden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner, quarterback for Malik Neighbors. LSU is going to have a quarterback, and their two starting wide receivers are going to be first round picks this year. Their wide receivers, Malik Neighbors, I already talked about him, and Brian Thomas Jr. I like him as well. Brian Thomas Jr. and the wide receivers in his category after the top 3 are the reasons why, like, if we actually did trade for a quarterback or actually drafted a quarterback, say we just stayed put and got JJ McCarthy at 6, we still can draft a number 1 wide receiver in the second round this year. The wide receiver position is probably the deepest position in the draft this year. Wide receiver and offensive lineman is a good position this year to draft too. So for all the people who want an offensive lineman, I highly doubt that we draft one in the first round. With the moves that we did in the offseason and plus the depth of this draft, I highly doubt that we pick an offensive lineman at 6. I wouldn't be totally shocked because I've seen so many NFL drafts. I'm hardly ever shocked anymore. But I really don't think that we're going to pick an offensive lineman. Like Joe Alt is Um, probably the highest rated tackle. I really don't see us trying to replace Evan Neal already. I think they're going to give Evan Neal another shot at right tackle. All if we did draft a tackle, they're surely not going to replace Andrew Thomas, our stud left tackle. So I highly doubt that we pick a tackle at 6. But Jaden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner, um, very, very good season. I think he had like over 5,000 yards passing and almost 2,000 yards rushing. I got to check that. I'm not sure, but he was a problem. He put up a lot of numbers, a lot of touchdowns. Um, 6'3", 210 pounds. He's smooth in the pocket. Has a nice arm. In anticipation for his throws are pretty good. He's been in college for a while though. He's a transfer. First, he started at Arizona State, and he ended up with LSU, winning the Heisman Trophy. But he also was throwing to 2 wide receivers that are going to be picked in the first round this year. So never know how he's going to end up, but he's going to be a dual threat quarterback in the NFL. You have to definitely watch him running out of the backfield. He's probably the best running quarterback to come into the draft this year. So let me see. Oh, let me check the Knicks game. Hold on. Let me see what the. See, that's the thing, man. I'm mad the NBA actually made, or not made the Knicks, but scheduled this game for tonight. Like they messed a lot of people up, especially people that are Giants fans and Philly fans too. Giants fans and Eagles fans are getting screwed today because their teams are playing in the NBA playoffs the same time as the NFL draft, and especially for us to have like a top 10 pick. This is a big pick for us. The third draft of Joe Shane's career. This is a big year for the Giants, man. I don't want to say make or break, because I actually think they're going to give him, Joe Shane and Brian Dable another shot. I don't think that their jobs are in jeopardy or anything like that. Especially if they did draft a quarterback, they're going to give Brian Dable at least a couple years to work with him before they replace him, regardless of what the record is going to be. I mean, I don't think Joe Shane is going anywhere. I actually think he's done a pretty good job so far, taking over David Gettleman's job. I don't know if I think he's doing a pretty good job just because um, how bad David Gettleman was, but I don't know. I like Joe Shane. I think the pick is in. Hold on. And plus, I might be a little bit spoiler too because I'm gonna get some of these picks off Twitter just so we can hurry up and talk about the players. Um, I think the Patriots definitely they got Drake May. I think Drake May is going to New England. So let me get him out of here. So Drake May, man, we a lot of people wanted Drake May, including myself. Um, he was a quarterback that I definitely highly coveted, especially with the record that we had last year. But we won a couple of meaningless games, so we got out of the Drake May sweepstakes because of that. I knew he wasn't going to be the number 1 pick because of Caleb Williams. I wasn't so sure if Jaden Daniels was going to be picked before him, but I knew Drake May was going to be picked too high for us to pick him if we was going to keep winning games, and that's exactly what happened. So for our quarterbacks now, our best bet is going to be J.J. McCarthy, who I've already said is very polarizing, whether you like him or not, and Michael Penix Jr. I'd be kind of shocked if they picked Michael Penix Jr. at 6, but wouldn't be mad though. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, the New York Giants did not trade up to get a quarterback. I actually think the price was too high, and I think that the Patriots needed a franchise quarterback so bad that you never know what they would have asked for. The price might have been too high for anybody, or they might have just put the price out there that they knew nobody would actually, nobody's going to give them 2 or 3 first round picks for Drake May. Like, he's highly coveted, but I don't know if I'm giving up 2 first round picks for him. But we'll see. The Bill Belichick era is gone for the Patriots, and now Jared Mayo is the head coach. So now he has a single caller and Drake May. We'll see how he does. I like Drake May, which he played for the Giants, but it is what it is. So I just hope a lot of people, like, if we pick JJ McCarthy, that is going to be like I don't know, I already call him polarizing. So what should I say? That would be like, if we did pick JJ McCarthy, like, fans are either going to love the pick or absolutely hate it. Like, he is the one player in the draft or the one quarterback in the draft that I know a lot of people do not like, simply because they haven't seen him throw the ball enough. Not because he's not talented, because he definitely is. He can make every throw on the field, but you haven't seen him do it that much. He, like, when he was in Michigan, he didn't have to throw the ball down the field hardly often. So I can see why people wouldn't like it. They wouldn't like JJ McCarthy because it's like talent sight unseen. Like, they don't know what he can do. So if it's somebody that's unknown, they're not going to like it regardless of what position it is. Knicks are in a close game. I'm looking now down 2. I got a score at 45-43, a little over 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Trying to watch both things at the same time. But now Arizona's on the clock. I expect Arizona to get the number 1 wide receiver in the draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. Give him a big target for Kyler Murray. I definitely would not be shocked if that happens. I expect that to happen. 5 is going to be the wild card for us to pick right before us, which is the Chargers, because they can go wide receiver or they can go offensive line. Jim Harbaugh is the new head coach there. So he's going to have the same mentality that he did in Michigan. Hard-nosed defense, hard-nosed running game. They just so happen to have one of the best quarterbacks in the league in Justin Herbert. So it all depends on what his philosophy is going to be. They can either get offensive line to protect their franchise quarterback that they just gave an extension to, or they can give him a target, the number 1 target in the draft, which is Marvin Harrison Jr. They say the pick is in. Hold on, let me see. Roger Goodell haven't went up there yet, but let me see on Twitter if I can see any spoilers. I'm trying not to spoil too many picks, so I know you guys are actually watching on TV, so I don't want to be a jerk. So I'm going to try not to spoil the pick at least that much, because we all on streaming. So some of these picks that I'm seeing on TV, I'm a little behind just because I'm on streaming, but on Twitter, I'm in like real time, and I might could tell before they even get picked what the pick is. Especially later in the draft, like once you get outside the first round and it really becomes a production, then the clock moves faster. A lot of the picks come in and they just don't announce them yet because of TV. Like, they're either still talking about a player in a segment, or they might be in commercial. But the pick is in. Now all of a sudden, after a couple minutes, Roger Goodell comes out to make the selection. But the pick was in like a few minutes ago. Marvin Harrison Jr., son of Hall of Fame Marvin Harrison, number 88 for the Colts, one of the best wide receivers of all time. His oldest son, Marvin Harrison Jr., 6'4", 210 pounds. He is my number 1 player in this draft. I think he's going to be a hell of a player in the NFL. He's been coached by his dad ever since he was little. He knows all the ins and outs of the wide receiver position. this is like a blue blood pick. Like I knew he was going to be the first wide receiver gone. Um, yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. is not really much to say about him. Like he's Superman out there on the outside. He's good enough to play in the outside as the X, or he could be the Z. He could be in the slot. You can have him move all around too at that size and that speed. He catches everything thrown to him. Downfield throws, short throws, it doesn't matter. He's a route technician. He has good feet, good eyes, good everything, man. I don't have any bad things to say about Marvin Harrison Jr.'s game as a wide receiver. And wide receiver is actually my favorite position to actually scout and study. He's one of the probably the most complete wide receiver I've seen come out of the draft. Maybe Jamar Chase. I love Jamar Chase coming out of the draft. Love Julio Jones, but I'm trying to think anybody more recent, more complete. Like maybe Jamar Chase is a good comp for him, but he's a little bigger than Jamar. Like he's taller. He snatches stuff out of the air just like Jamar Chase does. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about Marvin Harrison Jr. He's awesome. The Cardinals got a very good player. So we only got one more pick before ours. I said I'll probably, I'm gonna stay live until the Giants make their pick. I'm definitely going to talk about the pick before I get off. But I'll definitely have a draft recap show one day next week or maybe next weekend to talk about every pick that we make and have breakdowns on everybody. But so far the picks is pretty much chalk. It's pretty much, there have been no trades. This is exactly how, like, I can't predict trades, but this is exactly the players and the teams that picked that I thought that was going to happen. I thought this was going to happen so far. Now the draft really begins because you really don't know who the Chargers are going to pick, especially since they have a new head coach. He hasn't picked in the NFL in a while since he was with San Francisco. Jim Harbaugh, that is. But so I don't know if he's going to pick O-line or pick somebody like Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze to be Justin Herbert's number one wide receiver. They're showing, highlights of Marvin Harrison Jr. right now. So the Chargers are definitely on the clock. Let me take a peek at the Knicks. Knicks is in a dogfight just like I knew they would be. 49 all, a little less than 4 minutes left in the second quarter. One bad thing I just saw Mitchell Robinson limp off the court. So, Mitch just had surgery on his ankle. Hopefully he can, come back into the game. Hopefully it's not too serious, but he was definitely limping coming off the court. Unfortunately, I don't know everything that's been happening in the Knicks game because it's kind of hard to pay attention to both and actually talk to you guys during the show. So we'll see. Hold on, what Dwayne say? Let me see. If we get McCarthy, I see him starting by week 7 or maybe next season, depending on Jones' health. See, that's a huge thing. That's definitely where I completely agree with that. Yeah, JJ McCarthy. Say we do get JJ McCarthy. He does have the luxury to sit at least half of the season, just like Dwayne said. Thing about Daniel Jones, if Daniel Jones get hurt to the point that he can't make a roster in 2025, if we cut him, then that means his year after that is guaranteed too. So do you risk playing Daniel Jones, who is injury prone, to have another, season-ending injury, him coming off of an ACL and him having another neck injury last year? Or, I don't know, you just throw caution to the wind and hope Daniel Jones doesn't get hurt and see what you have in him. But to me, just like Dwayne said, if you do pick a quarterback, say if it wasn't J.J. McCarthy, say if you traded down and pick Michael Penix Jr., I still play Michael Penix Jr. over Daniel Jones if it means me giving my young quarterback experience and learning at the same time. We signed Drew Lock in the offseason, so he already has. Drew Lock was another quarterback actually drafted in the same year as Daniel Jones, so they're the same age. I believe Daniel Jones and Drew Lock were roommates in the Senior Bowl, so they're the same age. They is already a veteran presence in the quarterback room. So if we do draft a quarterback, he can feed off both of them. And both of them are pros. I don't see Daniel Jones being like a jerk to him, knowing that his number is up if we draft JJ McCarthy or Michael Penix Jr. So I don't know. I'll play the kid regardless of who we draft. It all depends on how the season is going. But like Dwayne said, by week 7, 8, 9, and it depends on when the bye week is. I've noticed a lot of head coaches don't like to give like rookie quarterbacks a short week. Like in the ideal world, if you're going to make a quarterback change, whether it's a rookie or not, you would like to do it on the bye week so that quarterback will have 2 weeks to get like first team reps, playbook changes between backup and quarterback. He'll know all the install, hopefully, depending on where his where he's at in the playbook and learning it. Nick's still up 1, a little under 3 minutes left. 52-51. Okay, I thought Joel Embiid got fouled, or did he? Yeah, but foul trouble. Both Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson both got 3 fouls, but Joel Embiid got 3 fouls too. So all of the centers that usually get minutes in this series all got 3 fouls in the second quarter already. So you already know they're playing physical. And this is without me watching all of the games, but I knew Joel Embiid was going to try to be a monster. They need this win. The Sixers need this win. I knew we was going to get their best shot in game 3, because they know if they don't win this game, they're not going to beat us 4 times. 4 times in 5 games. So I got a little over 2 minutes left in the next game. 54-51. We up 3. The Chargers are still on the clock. I don't know why. It seemed like it's been over 10 minutes. That's all I was saying. Like it's a production. Like they haven't put their pick in yet. Like the Giants should be on the clock already, because it's definitely been over 10 minutes since the Chargers have started their clock. But they haven't announced the pick yet. So with the next game, I got a timeout on the floor. 2 minutes left, 158. Knicks is up 3. So feel good about that. Hopefully we can get a nice lead before halftime. Or if we don't have a lead, hopefully it'll be close. We won't be losing by that much, because third quarter is key. Oh, the Chargers kind of with chalk again. I thought they might go offensive line. They got Joe Alt from Notre Dame. So that means the New York Giants have their pick of Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze. Okay, so let's talk about the two. It's not very much I have to say about Joe Alt, son of John Alt, former NFL offensive tackle. I think he played for the Chiefs, but his dad was good. And another legacy kid, Joe Alt from Notre Dame. He's a beast, about 6'6", 6'8". Like he's a huge kid. He's going to be a beast in the NFL. I think he was the number 1 tackle available. So Jim Harbaugh got his guy. And he's going to protect Justin Herbert. He can get another pass catcher or a wide receiver in the second, because I said wide receiver is the deepest position in the draft this year. So now let's talk about the Giants since we're on the clock. Malik Neighbors versus Rome Odunze. that has been a huge, because a lot of people kind of figured this was going to be the top five of the draft. Like nothing has happened that a lot of people didn't project. I actually thought this was going to happen. I thought we was going to have our choice between Malik Neighbors and Ron Dunze. So now let's talk about both of them. I already talked about um, their measurables pretty much, and I talked about how they can be used on the field. Personally, if I had my choice, I think I would go Roma Dunze. I like the traditional X um, boundary wide receiver that could get open, strong hands, smooth route runner, um, high point the ball down the field. He really doesn't have that many flaws to his game. He's quick. He's still fast for his size. Ran a 4.4 at the combine. Malik Neighbors, on the other hand, might be the most explosive wide receiver in the draft. Coming out of LSU, think Odell Beckham. Explosive, strong hands, could be used everywhere. In the slot, on the outside, can come out of the backfield. Um, Good. They're both good all around wide receivers that I think, depending on their situation, either one of them could be Pro Bowlers. Either one of them could be All Pros. I trust Brian Dable. Brian Dable already had a number one wide receiver um, in Buffalo with Josh Allen. So this is one of the first times that you will get a number one wide receiver before you get your franchise quarterback. Or what if the Giants get J.J. McCarthy? The pick is in. I don't know what the pick is yet, but the New York Giants have picked. So we will see if it's going to be one of the wide receivers that I just named, or maybe just get the wide receiver in J.J. McCarthy and make a lot of fans mad. I wouldn't be mad because I know how this stuff goes. J.J. McCarthy is not going to be. It's not a finished product. I think whatever you saw him at Michigan, you should just throw it out of your mind, man. Like, it doesn't matter that he didn't throw that much in Michigan. Brian Dable, I trust Brian Dable to any quarterback that we draft. I trust Brian Dable to have them ready, even if we get one of the quarterbacks um, that I'm not, too high on. Like, I'm not high on Bo Nix at all, really. But if, say, we drafted him in the second round, I'm not totally, I'm not pissed off because I believe in Brian Dable when it comes to crafting quarterbacks. Quarterback coach when he was at Alabama with Tua. Um, he had Bryce Young. He had Tua. Josh Allen in the pros. He been coaching quarterbacks for a while now. So the pick is in. I still don't know what it is. Roger Goodell is walking up to the stage now. New York Giants select Malik Neighbors, wide receiver out of LSU. We got our number one wide out. 6 foot, 200 pounds, run the 40 in like a 4.3. I talked about him a lot, man. Strong hands. Can have him anywhere on the field. Can have him in the slot. Can have him in the outside. Malik Neighbors is the most explosive wide receiver in this draft. So it's official. The New York Giants select Malik Neighbors. Hold on. I might actually have, before I get out of here, maybe I have a little video of Malik. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Because I told myself I wasn't going to do videos. But hold on for a second. Hold on. For the people watching, let me see. if I can get this going. God, pardon me, I'm doing this on the fly. Video, hold on. Hold on, let me cut this down. There we go. We get some highlights on Malik Neighbors, man. Let me give you some visuals what I was talking about. Like I said, Malik Neighbors you can use all over the field. Downfield, very, very elusive route runner, known as the most explosive wide receiver in the draft. Pretty much make every catch on the field, very versatile. Of course, he had the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback throwing to him, and he also had a number one wide receiver on the other side of the field as well. So it's not like he got double teamed all the time, but sure hands, very, very tough, very, very crisp route runner, technician. Yeah, it's not like Malik Neighbors. The only reason he's not the number one ranked wide receiver is because of Marvin Harrison Jr. But he doesn't have many flaws in his game either. Yep. One woman said, I like to pick. Dwayne said, definitely got our number one. Yes, Malik Neighbors will be our number one wide receiver going forward. Unless he, I don't know, unless something unforeseen happened, Malik Neighbors is going to be our number one wide receiver. Yep. Dwayne said, yak receiver. Yep. And he can get downfield. Has a good eye for the ball. But he's tough as nails, man. Like once he gets the ball, like he's tough to bring down. Very tough runner. There's nothing more I could really say about him, man. Very hard to tackle. Yeah, very hard to tackle. Malik Neighbors so explosive. It looked like he's running in place. It looked like other players are running in place because of his strides. Yeah, salute to the YouTube channel California Highlights. I use their highlights a lot. I want to big them up. They put these things together. Salute to them. So if you want to see some highlights of college players, I think they also do NFL players as well. Just type in, you see California on the upper left hand corner. Just check their YouTube out if you want to see some highlights. They have highlights of a lot of college players coming out. I like their channel. Yeah, they cut up some good stuff. This is obviously not scout tape. These are just highlights. Just to show you guys what some of these players are capable of. I didn't want to get too nerdy and put all 22 up here. A lot of people are not going to know what I'm talking about anyway. Just to show you what Malik Neighbors is capable of. Yeah, man, the New York Giants got their number one wide receiver. Finally, it's been a while. Um, they still have Jalen Hyatt. They still have Wendell Robinson. Um, Isaiah Hodgins is still on the team. Like their wide receiver room is going to be okay. Now we just need to worry about who's going to throw them the ball because Sterling Shepard. I don't think Sterling Shepard is going to be a part of the team anymore. Um, I don't know. Our wide receiver room is pretty much going to be Malik Neighbors, Jalen Hyatt, Wendell Robinson, Isaiah Hodgins. I wouldn't be shocked if the Giants drafted another wide receiver too. Like I said, it's a deep draft. Like the Giants can draft a wide receiver in the fourth or fifth round that can get some burn for us. You never know. Might mess around and pick somebody in the second round. You never know, man. Like the Giants, I don't know how they're building the team when it come to quarterbacks. Even though they missed out on their quarterback, like Drake May, if they wanted Drake May or something like that, they obviously didn't want J.J. McCarthy, or they would have picked him over Malik Neighbors. Because if they were so in love with J.J. McCarthy, he's a quarterback. But if they thought that he was going to be their franchise quarterback, they wouldn't have picked a wide receiver over him. It's the same with Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix. Like if they really wanted one of those guys, they would have picked him if they were on the board when Malik Neighbors, a wide receiver, is on the board. So I'm guessing it was a whole bunch of smoke screens. I'm not saying that they didn't like J.J. McCarthy, but even McCarthy on Rich Eisen's show thought that he was going to go to the Giants. But that could be, that could be for a number of reasons. But they ended up didn't pick him. Yo, salute to my guy, Old Head. He said, Yo, Real Malik is a home run pick. Yep. He's definitely going to be our number one wide receiver. Dwayne said, I see Hyatt being a beast this year. So do I. I think getting somebody like Malik Neighbors or getting somebody like Roma Dunze or Marvin Harrison, whoever we would have drafted as our number one, frees up Jalen Hyatt. Like I think Jalen Hyatt is going to be a beast moving forward. What we do need with Jalen Hyatt is a quarterback that will throw downfield though. Daniel Jones seems like he's not that guy. Um, that's why Jalen Hyatt actually looked better when Tyrod Taylor was our quarterback. He looked better when Tommy DeVito was our quarterback too, because they pushed the ball downfield more than Daniel Jones did. So as long as you have a quarterback that's not scared to throw downfield, that will give Jalen Hyatt a shot. Hyatt can get open because it's not that many cornerbacks in the NFL that can run with Jalen Hyatt once he goes downfield. And to pair him with somebody as explosive as Malik Neighbors, we went from not having many targets for our whoever our franchise quarterback is going to be. We end up having a really, really good young wide receiving core now. Between Neighbors, Jalen Hyatt, and Wendell Robinson, that's three nice young wide receivers that we got in that room. So yeah, we still watching Malik Neighbors. You can see how tough he is, how crisp he is in the routes. He knows how to get open in zones, and once he catches the ball, he's a monster to take down. Like teams have to gang tackle him because even though he's not that big, he's 6 foot, 200 pounds. He runs out of arms tackles all the time. Like you got to hit him. See how much is left of this. Yeah, so we got Malik Neighbors. Love the pick. Honestly, I would have been happy with Roma Dunze too. I'm a big Roma Dunze fan. I would have been either one of them would have been our number one wide receiver, but I guess they like the explosiveness with Neighbors. I don't mind it at all because once he has that ball in his hands, he put him up and put him down like he can go. Dwayne said his neighbors resemble anybody in the NFL. I don't know. His explosiveness is kind of tricky. The way that he's built, like I can see why Brian Dable got him. If you're going to compare him to somebody like Stephon Diggs, because they're built similarly. He's more explosive than Stephon Diggs is. Um, but the way he runs his routes, the way he snatches the ball out of his hair, out of the air, I can see um, like Diggs being a comp for him. Um, old head say like he catches the ball over the middle. Yep. So I guess because of the Buffalo connection with Brian Dable, I'll give my comp, Stephon Diggs for now. But he's so explosive; it's hard to comp him because most of the wide receivers in the NFL do not run like him. You can't compare him to like Cheetah or nothing like that. Like he's not that fast, not that quick because that's Hall of Fame type of speed. Like that's unheard of. But like a notch below, like he runs the 40 in 4.3. I think at LSU in his pro day, I think it was a 4.36, 4.37, 4.38 around there, but it was a 4.3. And he actually plays faster than that on the field. Like he's hard to get your hands on him because he's so quick. And the way that he cuts in his routes, man, he could stop on a dime. Dwayne said he was thinking Diggs. Yep. Because they're built similarly, like 6 foot, 200 pounds, to stop on a dime when it comes to route running. Um, Stephon Diggs is a good comp. Yeah, so there you guys go, man. That was Malik Neighbors, our number one wide receiver. So we got our guy. Um, yeah, there's nothing much else to say. I'm about to sign off now. The Knicks are at halftime. I think we have like a 3-point lead. I'm not sure. It's hard for me to pay attention to both. But I'm gonna go watch the game. Everybody have a good night. Check Die Hard Giants out next week. I will be having the Falcons. Hold on. The Falcons just picked. Oh, for one, I didn't even make the other picks. Hold on 1 second. Because the Titans got J.C. Lason, and at number 8, the Falcons picked Michael Penix Jr. I'm actually shocked at that because they just signed Kirk Cousins to all that money. But Michael Penix Jr., with if he can sit a year and he has all those weapons, that's a pretty good pick by the Falcons. I actually thought they was going to go defensive line. So that's a shocking pick that Michael Penix Jr. was picked before J.J. McCarthy. He was a top 10. He's a top 10 pick. In the beginning of the draft process, Michael Penix. I'm sorry, I'm looking at something. In the beginning of the draft process, Michael Penix was like a second round pick, coming off of that loss in the championship game because he didn't have a good game, but his ball placement. He probably has one of the best deep balls in the draft. Cannon for an arm, can run the 40 in like a 4.5. Like it's pretty. Michael Penix is a pretty good kid. I wouldn't mind him for the Giants. It's just that his injury history, I didn't think the Giants was going to go for that because we already got a quarterback that's injury prone, and Michael Penix Jr. has already had 2 ACL tears. So, Yeah, but we got Malik Neighbors, our number one pick in the draft. Check me out next week. I'm going to have a draft breakdown for every player that we draft, a draft recap show. It's going to be either sometime next week or next weekend, but it's definitely coming soon. I'm going to have a breakdown for everybody that we draft, all the measurables, 40 times and stuff like that, and just like a highlight video, just like I have for Neighbors. Yeah, so salute to everybody who came through. Wonder Woman, Dwayne, Old Head, um, Jesse Comer popped in, said hi. I don't know what that means. Like salute to you, salute to the, subscribe to the channel. Kareem, my guy, just came in. Kareem, I'm actually about to get off because I think the Knicks are still at the halftime. At least I think, so I can actually pay attention to the Knicks game because they on at the same time. Oh, they playing now. It's the third quarter. But yeah, I'll be on next week. Everybody have a good night. We got our number one wide receiver. Salute to everybody and peace.